Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Young Villains podcast. And it is a very, very special episode because we are joined by former Aston Villa defender, Villa legend, Shaun TEALE. First of all, obviously, we just want to thank Shaun for coming on the podcast. It's the first, high-profile person in the Villa community that we've actually got onto the podcast, as in former players. So, yeah, we just want to say thank you for coming on.
It's a pleasure.
So our first question to you is, do you think Villa can stay up?
Yes, I do. I think the Sheffield game come Wednesday is a big game. I think it's a winnable game for us. And that then puts pressure on everybody else because we jump out the bottom three and everybody else starts panicking. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy because our form before the lockdown was awful. And we need to put it right. So, we've got home games. We've got 2 home games on the bounce. 6 would be massive. And probably would be enough to frighten everybody off.
What are your predictions for the first game?
I fancy us to beat Sheffield United 2-1.
Okay. That's what I've said as well, yeah.
We'll like that.
2-1.
The way Sheffield United play suits us. And we can get at them a bit because they play that expansive game where the centre-backs go out on the wing and disappear. And I just think we've got players who can, especially when we get them back, I think that makes a big difference to us as a team.
What are your thoughts on, the games being played behind closed doors? And have you had any experiences, in the earlier stages of your career, or I don't know, the youth days of your career where the games have been played behind closed doors?
Yeah, I mean, as you growing up, obviously, I was an apprentice at Everton when I was 15. But we played what they called then A and B team games, viewed as one of the better apprentices. You play in the A team if you were viewed as learning your trade, sort of playing the B team. But they were always with there was nobody there. There was the 2 coaches. There'd be a physio between the 2 sides, and that would be it basically. So, but it is a strange phenomenon. I mean, I played at Villa Park in charity games when there's nobody in the ground, and it's weird. It's really weird. Obviously, I played at Villa Park. It's been a full house and packed. A la Tranmere in '94 when the place was literally bouncing. The roof was coming off. So, it'll be difficult because the lads are really used to the backing at home. It will be difficult, but the professional footballers, at the end of the day, they train every day without a crowd. They've played two friendlies now without a crowd. So, in a way, it may make it easier for the players because it takes the pressure off. There's no pressure on performing for the crowd. You're performing for the team, and that's it, really.
We're just going to go on to the earlier life. What team did you support as a child?
I was an Everton fan as a kid. I don't really know why. I don't know where it came from. It was just the way it was. I joined Everton at 15, got released at 17, and never supported them again. Quite a blow to a young kid, and it was hard. It was tough. It was hard to recover. But you make a decision at that stage. Do you want to be a footballer? Or do you not want to be a footballer? And I made the decision that I would do whatever it takes to get to the top.
Oh, fair enough.
Did you have any soft spots for teams as a kid?
Did I have any soft spots for teams? The early 70s, Southport were a league team up until 72. But I was born in 64, so that would have made me 8. So I don't really remember. I remember going to the ground at Southport and watching a couple of big FA Cup games where it was probably a full house, but a full house then was probably about 5,000. So, but after that, I went to. I trained every day. I was convinced I'd be a professional footballer at Everton, and it didn't work out. And it was a massive knock to the confidence. And it's you're in the position then at 17. You've got to come out of football, find a normal job, which was not easy in the first place, and try and rebuild your career, I suppose. And there's many don't even carry on. I know lads that left when I left, never kicked a ball again, just packed in completely. But that tells me something about people if they're packing that is were they really committed to making it in the first place.
Yeah, and you mentioned there about you loved for Everton as a kid. Was there any players that you looked up to?
Well, I was lucky when I was at Everton. They had a decent team, the likes of John Gidman, Asa Hartford, Peter Eastoe, Billy Wright, Mick Lyons, Bob Latchford. So they had some big players. So when you're a kid at 15 going into Everton, seeing these full-time pros with what then to me was huge bodies, huge legs, it was quite daunting. But I was lucky. My kit. I had to watch the kit for certain players, and one of those was a fellow called Andy King, who was just an amazing footballer. He passed away sadly for a few years, but he was an amazing footballer. But a really nice fella as well. So it was easy. He made it easy for us to gel into that kind of lifestyle, going in, doing the kit, cleaning the boots, all that kind of stuff. It was enjoyable. It was enjoyable 2 years. And then the big shock came when they said, "No, you're not good enough."
How old were you when you knew that you made it?
Oh shoot! Well, I was at 17. I played 7 years in non-league football. So when I became a full-time pro at Bournemouth, I was 24, which in today's terms is really old to get into pro football at 24. There was a few around at that time. Ian Wright was another one, to drop names, but it was difficult because I went from full-time painting and decorating to playing football full-time, and I actually ended up. I took a pay cut to go full-time at football because I was that desperate to be a footballer, and my career had took quite a strange turn because going from up north to from the south coast. They signed me for £55,000, which was a lot of money them days. And we moved up. Everybody, 3 kids, Carol and me, moved to Weymouth. Spent 18 months there, and then got the nod from Harry Redknapp to go to Bournemouth. So went to Bournemouth, and that was the start of my pro career. 2 years later, I was sat in Villa Park.
You spent a lot of time in about 7 years to be precise in the lower ends of the football pyramid for Southport and Weymouth. What was that like?
It certainly made me who I was. I think it made me physically strong. It made me mentally strong. Because don't forget, you're not old enough to know, but when we played, tackle was a tackle, and if you as long as you won the ball first, it didn't matter what happened to the player you were tackling. So there's many a time I've tackled people and they've ended up in a heap over the brick wall in non-league. And that's just the way the game was then, whereas nowadays, it's a yellow card even if you go near somebody nowadays. So the game's changed an awful lot. But I learned the physical and the mental side of it really from playing non-league, from going to grounds where there's 4 men and 2 dogs watching, and it's freezing cold on a Tuesday night. So it turns you up and it makes you appreciate when you get there in the end.
Really in my career.
Power off.
That's right. My speaker just turned itself off.
We can hear you a lot better now.
Say again?
I can hear you a lot better now.
Yeah. Oh shit! I should have turned it off earlier. Sorry.
So, what was it like moving from Bournemouth to Villa? It's a big move in your career, probably the best move in your career.
Without a doubt, it was the best move. It was a bit weird because it came as a real shock. The season had finished. We'd gone on holiday. It was my first foreign holiday. We'd gone to Lanzarote. Took the kids. We'd stayed there. We'd been there 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks, and we were due to start pre-season on the Saturday, and we were getting back on the Friday, and the plane broke down. It could only happen to me. The plane broke down, and it was like right, get on the coach. You go into a hotel for the night. Oh, great, just what I need. So I had to phone Harry Redknapp and tell him that I wouldn't be there for pre-season the next day, and he wasn't best pleased. And then he phoned me a bit later on while I was still in Lanzarote and said, "Listen, by the way, Sunday morning, you might want to phone your agent because you're meeting Ron Atkinson at the Royal Bath Hotel in Bournemouth to talk about a move to Villa." And I'm like, "What?" And he went, "A move to Villa." I went, "Oh, right, okay, great." But football was like that in them days, you know. You never preconceive what's going to happen. Villa was just not on the radar. It came right out of left field. You know, nobody had ever mentioned Villa. And then I suppose everything changed when Ron got the job and decided he wanted to revamp the whole first team. And he did, because he signed 13 players in really quick time. Steve Staunton, Kev Richardson, myself, Cyril Regis, Dalian Atkinson, Dean Saunders. You know, it was all very quick. But great times. You know, I literally signed on the Tuesday morning and flew to Germany for pre-season, which again was a bit weird because that had never happened to me in my life before. I'd never signed for a club and jumped on a plane. So things are, you know, that's when you start. People talk about Villa as a big club, but not until you're within the club and part of the club do you actually realise how big it is. It still amazes me to this day. You walk around the place and you think, wow, this place is huge. And I can only see it with the owners we've got now. I can only see it getting bigger.
Yeah, that's music to the Villa fans' ears.
You know, I think the North Stand is an issue, and I think that they know that and they're looking at it. I think they want to fill the corners in to make more seating. You know, we've got 30,000 season ticket holders last season.
Yeah.
And 5,000 that had to go on a waiting list. So if you can put another 10,000 seats in Villa Park, you know, why can't you sell them? Of course you can. It's a massive club in a massive area, with massitive support. I better let you two speak, haven't I?
No, we like it. We like it.
Like hearing it. That's why we got you on. So obviously with Villa, you know, you did very well when you first joined. Villa just finished second in the league. You finished second in the first ever Premier League season.
Say that again.
And then
you sounded like a robot.
Villa were doing quite well in the league though when you joined. Obviously finished second again while you played, and then you went on and won the League Cup after as well. What was it like in the semi-finals before that when you scored that header versus Tranmere?
Oh, the Tranmere game was just unreal. It was so intense. I mean, I'd been suspended for the first game at Tranmere. Obviously, we lost 3-1. I sat in the stand and watched it and thought, God,
you must have made a difference the second leg.
Yeah. Well, scored, so maybe it did.
Yeah.
But it was weird. It was weird because I'd got sent off in the FA Cup at Grimsby for their centre forward tried to elbow me and we had a fight. We both got sent. We both got sent off. But that meant I missed the quarterfinals of the FA Cup at Bolton. We got beat 1-0. Alan Stubbs scored a free kick. I sat in the stand and watched us get knocked out of the FA Cup. And then 4 days later, I'm sat in the stand at Tranmere and we get beat 3-1. And I'm thinking, great.
Right.
I've missed 2 massive games and we've got knocked out of both cups. And then Dalian scored with that last kick of the game to make it 3-1. It was like, hang on a minute, we've got a chance here. We only have to win at Villa Park 2-0.
Yeah.
So, you know, we were, to say we were confident going in the game was a bit of an understatement. We were more than confident. We knew they were dangerous. We knew if we took our eye off the ball, we could end up tripping ourselves up. And we almost did, to be fair. But we got the first. I think Dino got the first goal. And then I scored, which levelled the tie at 3-3. Then Bozzy brought Aldo down and John Aldridge scored from the penalty to make it 3-2 to them. And then we played the rest of the game till 2 minutes from time when Dalian did it again with an unbelievable header from a great cross from Tony Daly. And then we went into extra time and it was a bit weird. It was a bit nobody wanted to win extra time. Apart from there, the free kick that Liam O'Brien took and he hit the inside of the right post and it went behind Bozzy and along the line and came out the other side. And we couldn't believe it. It was like, you know what? I think our name's on this cup because otherwise we'd have got beat. You know, you get that feeling that it's just going to go your way. And that's the way it was. And even as far as, going to Wembley playing United, we still had a massive belief we could win the game, even though we were massive underdogs. Our league form was weird. 92, obviously, we should have won the Premier League in 92. We threw it away. United ended up winning it by 10 points, but they were nowhere near 10 points better than us. And at one point, I think we were 8 points ahead of them. But I'd hate to say bottled it, because I don't think that's true. We just lost our way. The things we'd done all season, we stopped doing well. We stopped defending well. We stopped finishing chances that normally would finish straight, really easy. I mean, when you think about it, Dean Saunders, Dane Atkinson, Dwight York, Sil Regis, we had 4 fabulous forwards in our squad who could score goals for fun at any time. Add to that Tony Daly, Steve Froggatt on the wing. So we had a lot of talent to score goals. But the goals dried up. Our performances became very rocky. We played Oldham, Blackburn, and they all turned us over. And in the end, we gifted it to United. It was really sickening at the time. So I suppose the 94 Cup game was a bit of retribution from our point of view.
Obviously, after coming from the lower end of the football pyramid straight to the top division, and then obviously going on to win the League Cup, how did that feel?
Pretty amazing, to be fair, Harry, because when you remember back where you've played and the games you've played, and you think it's sort of one of those, how did I ever get there? But listen, I'm not stupid, and I'm not that naive to think that it wasn't down to myself. I worked very, very hard. I worked very hard for a long time to get to the top. So if someone was to ask me the question, do I think I deserved it? My answer would be yes in the end, because when you put the amount of work in to get the best out of yourself, then you really do deserve it, and that goes for anybody in any in any part of life. If you work yourself that hard that you get to your goals in the end, I suppose, then you deserve it. I thoroughly, winning the League Cup was just magic. The whole Wembley experience, the going down to Wembley on the Thursday, we had a meal with the wives and that, and then it was into training. And then I had the fun thing about Bozzy broke my nose the day before Cup final, came to punch a ball and punch me instead. So he literally, you could hear the crack right across the training ground. He hit me that hard. But that wasn't going to stop me playing the final. So I turned up at Wembley with my nose around my ear hole, no skin on my nose because Bozzy had took that, and all the United lads laughing at me. So, Brian Robson, Paul Linton, that couldn't stop laughing. Hey ho, they weren't laughing at the end of the game because we played really, really well on the day, and we thoroughly deserved to win the game.
Yeah.
And then of course, it sinks in after we had a bit of a party after as a club. We went to a hotel and had a bit of a party, and then it sort of sinks in. We've been to Wembley and won, and that's literally what everybody wants to do as a footballer. When you're a kid, what's your dream? Your dream is to go and play at Wembley and win something. So that was my boyhood dream fulfilled. Playing in the Premier League and winning a cup final at Wembley. So my career then was worth something to me. That was worth something to me anyway, because I love my career. So it makes it makes all those years of hard work just worthwhile, because you've got to the top and you've won something. So yeah, it was a magnificent day. It goes way too quick, as everybody had said before. Although it's still 24 hours, it certainly don't feel like 24 hours. It feels like about 6 hours from going to the ground, playing the game, and then partying after, going to bed and getting up the next day. And you can't remember the day before when you get up. It's ridiculous because it's gone that quick. But you have to take all the memories out of it. And obviously, the biggest memory is having a cup winners medal in my safe at home, and the shirts that we wore on the day. So, but yeah, great times, great days. with a great club.
I've actually got that shirt. It's an iconic shirt, and I think it's one that most Villa fans love because of that reason.
Yeah, well, I've got two. I've got one that's got the front of it on, and one that's got the back, that are both framed. And it's just, you're right. It's a great shirt. It's one of them iconic shirts that everybody loves.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not one of them kind of people that will wear a football shirt anymore. So, obviously we've been to Wembley times pretty quickly, and I'm not one that I can't wear a Villa shirt. I know I probably should, but I'm just not that type. If I'm honest, I don't like seeing 50-year-olds in football shirts.
Yeah, the reason that we lost in March was because SHAUN wasn't wearing his Villa shirt.
To be fair, I did have a Villa top on. It just wasn't it wasn't an actual playing shirt, but I did have a Villa top on. Listen, I'm as proud as anybody to wear anything that's got Villa on it. But I draw the line at wearing a shirt.
Fair enough.
Do you remember seeing me at Wembley?
Yes.
I've got a mesmerising face.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
You talked a bit about at the start of the interview about growing up in Southport, and obviously later in your career you moved back to Southport. So, what was it like going back?
Strange. Let's put it that. I mean, I'd left Villa. I'd gone to Tranmere, which was quite strange. Scored against us. So I ended up going to Hong Kong and played in Hong Kong for a year.
Well, I've actually got a question about that.
Was that weird?
Yeah. Yeah, because they're all Chinese.
So on Wikipedia, they don't know the amount of appearances and goals you made while in Hong Kong. Do you remember that?
It doesn't say, does it?
No.
No.
Do you remember?
Say,
how many
but
games played?
it also on Wikipedia gives the wrong team because it says I played for a team called Sing Tao.
Who did you play for?
I didn't. I played for a team called Happy Valley.
Yeah.
And your dads will probably know Happy Valley if they're into horse racing, because there's a huge horse racing stadium right in the middle of Happy Valley. But it was an experience. Was the football great? No, not really. It was okay, but it was an experience. It was a life experience going and living out in Hong Kong with Carol and the kids, and no car. You get around in different ways. I lived on an island where there was no vehicles allowed apart from buses, and every day we had to get on a ferry to get back over to Hong Kong Island to go to training. But it was enjoyable because socially wise it was really good, and the football was okay. We were the first team to win a trophy that season, and we won the League Cup in the November of that season. How many games did I play? Good question, because I've tried to find out myself and I don't know. But there was work this out. I played every game. There was 8 teams in the league, and we played each other 4 times. So
32.
Come on, sort your maths out.
If
there's 8 teams and you play each other 4 times.
32, yeah.
Yeah, 32.
All right, okay. Listen, we don't play against our own club.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
28.
Come
Yeah.
on. Yeah, there you go.
Forgive us, we haven't been at school for a long time.
So 28 league games, but then there was cup games. There was representative games because they in Hong Kong around Chinese New Year they select a representative team out of the best players in the league up until Christmas, as it is, and we played against Nigeria, Iran, and Chile, who were all just about to go to the World Cup. So we were like warm-up games for them. And yes, we didn't win any of the games. But it was an experience. It was good. I went up to China 7 times with the team to play friendlies when we had no league game. They'd stick us on a train and we'd go straight up to China and play go into different parts of China and play league games, play friendlies. So it was, it was great. The kids loved it. It was something different for the kids. And for a year, it it worked. And then I came back, and I was really, really lucky. I came back, and Brian McClare, who had been at United, had joined Motherwell, and Tranmere gave me a free, so they let me go for nothing. Although I'm still their record signing. And I got a phone call asking me if I fancy going to Motherwell. So I went up to Motherwell, played in the Scottish Prem for what ended up as being my last 2 years of my career, full time. Oh, apart from 3 months, I went to Carlisle right at the end, and then I did 3 months at Carlisle. We stayed up. That was in the old 4th division, I think. Yeah, no, it must have been the 3rd division. We stayed up by a single goal. Chester City went down, and they did the dirty on me and didn't offer me the contract they were supposed to offer me, and I left. And I just went back and I just decided. I got a phone call off Mark Wright, the ex-Liverpool defender, who took over at Southport as manager, asking me if I fancied going back to Southport and playing at Southport. And I still had my house in Southport, so it was a no-brainer really. The people who were renting the house off us, we kicked them out and went home.
Yeah.
Not literally, by the way.
Yeah.
You had 3 brief managerial stints with Kinsale over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you would have? Do you think you wanted to be like successful in that, and did it go as you planned?
The issue I had as a manager was I had to answer to chairman, and most of the time it was chairman who had never played the game. I was offered the job at Burscough, which is a little village, so it was a real easy decision to manage. They offered me a job as player manager, and we had what can only be described as, league-wise, we did okay. We battled away. We ended up probably 4 places off the relegation zone, but we were safe. But the big thing was we got to the FA Trophy final.
Very big.
Which the final was at Villa Park. So for me, at 40 years old, to play in a cup final like that was just a dream come true. Really, going back to Villa Park and playing on the hallowed turf of Villa Park, which is sacred to every Villa player that's ever played on it. Going back as player manager, was just unbelievable for me. And then to win it, beat Tamworth 2-1 in the final, but win it quite easily. 2-1 doesn't do us justice, really. Was just on another level. I'd been in the job less than a year, and then 5 weeks later they sacked me. It's put down as footballing issues. Basically, they didn't like the fact that whenever anything happened at the club, everybody came to me and didn't go to them. So it just petty jealousies from people. It was ridiculous. So they sacked me, and then I took the caretaker role at Northwich Victoria, which was just I should never have took it. I was stitched up badly. I was put in a job that I thought I was getting the job full time, and then when I met the players, the chairman came in and announced that I was a caretaker, and I looked at my assistant, and I really should have just said, you know what, shove it, I'm going. I'm not. I don't want to be anybody's lackey. And then I took the job at Chorley, which was okay. It was all right. The first 18 months was really good. That the finances were good at the club, and then the man who ran the show, who had all the money, a fellow called Trevor Hemmings, he owns 3/4 of Blackpool, and he owns all sorts of race horses and that. And he's a very rich man, very powerful man. Decided to take all his money out of the club, and left us really with nothing. We had to get rid of all our contract players, and we were just, just not a team anymore. And we played the first 3 games of the season. We got beaten all 3 games, and I thought, this is ridiculous. What am I doing? I'm 42 years old now. I'm still trying to play just to fill in gaps. So I, at the end of the 3rd game, I walked in the dressing room and told them I'd quit and retired, and that was me done. I didn't want to play. I didn't want to manage again. I'd been treated like a bag of, we won't say, but not exactly, not very well. And I just thought, I don't need this in my life. So I bought a pub, which was the worst decision I ever made in my life because it cost me a lot of money. But that's a different story. But I've been, since finishing and that, I've been quite lucky. I spent 3 years in the States, in Atlanta, Georgia, coaching kids, which was absolutely fantastic. I loved every minute of it. I've been back to China and done some soccer camps there. I've been to Australia and done soccer camps. So I've been very lucky. And I'm back painting and decorating again.
Thank you so much, Sean. The stories have been fascinating.
You're welcome, boys. It's been a pleasure.
Right, everyone, I'd like to thank everybody for watching or listening to this podcast. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Sean as well for joining us. It's absolutely mental. We've only been doing this for a couple of weeks, and to have someone as big as Sean TEALE on is just pretty mental. So I'd just like to say thank you for coming on. You're
really welcome. Listen, boys, and I hope the podcast goes really well, and I hope it's really successful. You'll like me. You'll get better at it the more you do. I've been doing these interviews for 30 odd years, so it's quite easy for me. But you'll get your confidence and you'll improve. And fair play to you for giving it a go. Well done.
Go and subscribe to all of our channels. Subscribe to the podcast channel. Check out, obviously, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching again, and see you in the next one.